Hey y'all, welcome to Fantastical Follies, where we get up to various sewing shenanigans. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back to the insanity, my friends. Today I'm going to show you how I made a medieval sewing block on my own using duct tape. I used this to create my medieval Maleficent costume for Halloween last year, and also used it as a base to start my supportive kirtle. This is a really great method for getting a block that fits your body exactly. However, it's usually done with two people. One, the body, and two, the person applying the duct tape. I made my block around this time last year in the middle of the pandemic, alone and unable to get any help. But it needed to be done. So I'm going to show you how I managed it. Now before we begin, I just want to say, one, that this is not the preferred method of doing this kind of block. If you have help, for the sake of the gods, use it. Two, this video is going to be very silly. So if you're not up for that, well, you're probably on the wrong channel. Materials. You're going to need an old t-shirt or some other top that's similar in heft to your shift, but you don't mind ruining. You'll also need a permanent marker, duct tape, saran wrap, some household scissors, plus scrap fabric and paper to take down your final pattern. Time's a little tight this week, so let's just get into it. Hey there, folks. We got a great matchup for you today. In the right corner, the challenger, duct tape. It's sticky, it's silver, it'll fix almost anything. Can it overcome the odds and come out on top? In the left corner, our reigning champ, Jackie. She's mean, her eyes are green, and she's one fighting machine. Will she manage to hold on to her title, or will she find herself in sticky second? There's the warm-up bell. Jackie, you got anything to say before we start?
Don't laugh at my saran wrap. I know it's ridiculous.
Truer words have never been spoken. That's what happens when you grow up in professional kitchens, kids. You learn to expect restaurant-sized packing materials. Now, to prepare for this match, Jackie has to wrap her entire torso in plastic wrap. Otherwise, the duct tape will stick to her shirt and ruin the block. She has to get around her entire body, including her shoulders. Whoop, that was a close one. Looks like she's finishing up, folks.
That's as good as it's going to get.
And there's the bell. Let's get ready to rumble! She's getting off to a good start. Her tape is nice and smooth. Notice she's starting at the bottom and working her way up to make sure she gets a consistent shape. But keep a close eye. That duct tape is mighty tricky. Things are starting to wrinkle a little bit around her curves. That does not bode well for the shoulders. There she goes, folks, starting with a classic crisscross. Now this is where the tape really shines. Can Jackie's lack of detachable shoulder joints contend with its sticky goodness? I don't know, folks, she's struggling.
This is the tricky part.
Oh, point for duct tape. Look at that, folks. There's a huge patch on her back that she just can't reach. It's not looking good for our champ.
I just had a brilliant idea. Watch this. This is not easy. It worked.
That, my friends, is the difference between an amateur and a professional. There's not much left to do after that but clean up the ring. Look at her making those finishing touches. Duct tape didn't stand a chance. Well, my friends, that looks like the last piece. Jackie remains the champ. Tell us, Jax, any words now that the match is over?
Words cannot express how uncomfortable I am right now.
Haha, that's right, folks. Don't attempt this process in the middle of July in Central Texas. Right now, she's wishing she did this during Snowmageddon. Now, to take this massive silver stick into block territory. Using a permanent marker, she's drawing a high oval neckline at the top. Now for the arm size. These are historically much higher than the arm size of today. Notice she's really getting up in there.
Forgot my pits.
Now to mark the center front. And the side seam. And an approximate mark for the center back seam. She'll true up those two later in the process. Here she goes, folks. Time to cut it off. Can she do it without cutting her shirt? If this looks awkward as hell, that's because it is. Is this some sort of outdated mating dance, or is she trying to find her waist? Nobody is quite sure over here at the studio. There she goes, cutting the center front. And she's free and sweaty. One last challenge. The shoulder seams. Well, nope, not gonna work. Gotta cut that seam, Jax. Oh, it looks like she got it there. Shame. That, my friends, is a look of determination not seen on this earth since Bruce Bogtrotter tried to eat that last piece of chocolate cake. Commence contortion.
Woo! I'm free.
There you have it, folks. She's won again. That's me signing off. Now back to you, Jackie. Using a ruler, I measured the center back of the block and drew my first straight line of the afternoon. Once that was cut, I marked my left and right front and backs and went about cutting the side seams and the rest of the arm size. All right, that's the hard part done, y'all. Now we just have to make this a real block. First, I transferred onto some scrap fabric, which I probably should have ironed first. I traced out each quarter of the duct tape block and gave myself a good inch seam allowance on all sides. Once these were all traced, I cut them out. Notice I'm taking a lot of care to mark everything. I then matched the front piece and back pieces together and basted them. Then I fit them on my body off camera. Finally, I drew on the pin line and evened out the lines between the two front halves and back halves, then traced them onto paper. This was done about the same time as I was working on my ionic chitin. That particular project's film quality wasn't great, so the video got trunked, but if anyone actually wants to see me give a how-to on how to make an ionic chitin, let me know in the comments below. I really love them and they're a huge part of my summer loungewear. Here are my completed body blocks. Notice I have a front and a back. I did not add any ease or seam allowance to these. I may rework the front a little bit when I start the curl because it looks a little weird and I wasn't 100% happy, but for the sake of time I am going to use this to draft the hoop blonde because it doesn't really matter. It's not a fitted garment. It's going to be huge. So I'm gonna get that started, and then when I move on to the kirtle, I may trace this back onto the toile that I made first. I've saved that, I haven't cut anything from it. And then re-drape it and make sure that it's supporting me the way I need it to support me. But that's another day, and that is going to be another video. And there you have it. This block was a huge lifesaver when I started drafting all of my medieval garb. If you don't have someone to help you, I definitely think the duct tape route is easier than trying to pin things on yourself. But again, it's really hard to do this on your own. Be prepared to get frustrated and hot. You think polyester doesn't breathe? It ain't got nothing on duct tape. What do you think? Would you ever try making a block of any kind using duct tape? Do you think you'd do it differently than me? Let me know in the comments down below. Up next is hopefully the David Bowie English gown. It's assembled and I've begun the trim process. Hopefully I'll have it finished in time to get a video out in the next 2 weeks. If not, you may see something completely different. I'm already working on my next project that I want to take to costume college, and that's getting almost entirely machine sewn, so who knows? Stay tuned. If you want to be notified when I upload content, make sure to click the little bell. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more silly how-tos like this. I have a lot of things planned for the rest of this year, including pirate history bounding, Regency zombies, an 1830s bat dress, and finally some steps toward my 17th century capsule wardrobe. I've also filmed my first cooking tips from a time traveler, so keep an eye out for that. Those will be coming out basically when I get them done. And I am super excited about that project. That's about it for me, y'all. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. If you'd like to make my day, feel free to drop a comment down below. I reply to everyone you take the time to make. Introduce yourself, share what you're working on, watching or listening to, or just tell me a joke. I really like jokes. I'll see y'all later.